Hello and welcome to the Revive and Thrive video podcast. I am starting this podcast because I want to speak to women in their midlife transition. This happens between the ages of sometimes 40 all the way through to 60. So there's this 20 years where things start to change in a woman's life pretty dramatically for some. I'm Darcy Newman. I'm the host of this podcast. I, of course, will be bringing in special guests to share in inspiring conversations and insightful experiences. This space is dedicated to empowering women in midlife to break free from the grind and reignite their passion. I believe there comes a time in almost everyone's life where they wake up one day and something feels like it's missing in their life. They may not know what it is, but there is this gap of fulfillment. They don't know how to find it, what to do. Some people choose to stay in the status quo and fight their way through this, and others don't. We're going to do a deep dive into the journey of redefining your life. It's kind of like an identity makeover. You're going to reclaim your well-being, like that person deep within you that has been hiding, that has been covered up by experiences in life. Not that those experiences aren't worthy, but sometimes they bury that part of ourselves that now wants to flourish. If you are interested in reviving and then thriving in this next phase of your life, tune in. We are going to talk about self-care. We are going to talk a little bit about nutrition. I have a very personal perspective on this. It was a big deal to me when I was going through my midlife transition, and it made a big difference, for sure. We are going to talk about other ways of self-care. I have a previous background in yoga, yoga therapy, yoga nidra. So I come from that world. And I also have a strong background in shamanism. I'm also going to introduce shamanic techniques and practices that you may or may not be interested in. I was formerly a registered nurse. That's sort of how I started my wellness journey. But even before that, I was very committed to actually running when I was in high school. Like running and nutrition, I became obsessed with when I was a youngster, like in my teenage years. Yes, I was in sports. Track, of course, was my favorite because I love to run. I no longer run, but I stay very fit, so we're going to talk about fitness in midlife as well. My deepest passion, though, and this comes from my experience as a yoga therapist, falls in the range of working with women really on their identity, on the emotional highs and lows of this time in their life, and to take you from this idea that you are not in a crisis, that you are in an awakening. This is an initiation. What are you going to do in the next phase of your life? I want to bring in people who want to talk about finance. What will finances look for you in the next phase of your life? Are you ready to retire? Are you planning to retire? What will that look like for you? What kind of things can you still do today to influence the next phase of your life financially? Midlife is a calling into a new story. For those of you who really are looking for this new story, this redefinition of who you are. You may have and still are in a very successful career. Maybe you're a CEO of a multinational company and you are exhausted. You have spent your entire life taking care of the company that you work for, the children that you've raised, the house you love, the car you drive, and all of those things are worthy. But you may still feel, especially now, that there's something nudging you that's asking you to re-look at who you really are and who you really want to be. Maybe this is a time in your life where you feel empowered or want to feel empowered to do the things you wouldn't give yourself permission to do earlier in your life. I know society has all these rules for us, and there are some at this time in our life as well. But the women I work with and the women I want to continue to work with want to break through that. They want to be wild and free, and not at this place of forgetting their past life and not involving the people they love. Of course not. But they're really looking for something more. They really want to step into this version of themselves that is just waiting to blossom. So I've shared a little bit about who I am and a little bit of my background, and I'll just continue to share stories about myself as this podcast or videocast continues. And I really invite, maybe you, the person watching this video, wants to be interviewed about her life, wants to share her voice in her journey. It was very clear to me when I started to enter perimenopause. It started in my early 40s. My life was turned upside down. I felt like my body had betrayed me. I had monthly, excruciatingly painful migraines. I did everything I could think of to help them. I even studied Ayurveda. I became an Ayurvedic practitioner. Yoga therapy, yoga nidra was a lifesaver at that time in my life. But I have much more to share with you, and I don't want to give it all away today. I just want to introduce you to this new podcast that I hope you will weekly join me for. I am so new at doing the whole YouTube podcast thing even that you'll get to experience me stumble sometimes. I am just learning so much already. I hope you're willing to come along for this journey. I would love to receive your insight. I would love to receive your questions. I would love it if you even considered coming on this podcast and talking about your journey in midlife. I have so much to share with you. So I now work with women on a one-on-one basis and in small groups who have often, not always, but who have often had very successful careers. They have maybe climbed the corporate ladder or maybe have been entrepreneurs. And they have compromised their personal relationships. Excuse me. They have neglected to take care of themselves and their state of being. They come to this point in life, and these are like incredible women who come to this point in their life and they realize that there has got to be something more. There's got to be something more, but have been so immersed in the world of either caring for their children who've now left home, or climbing the corporate ladder, or simply just have lost this connection to what really makes them happy. And they don't know what to do or how to do it, how to step into this next phase of their life. There's even this like little subtle hint of maybe a little bit of regret or anger underneath it all. But there's this undying knowing that what they want, who they want to be, what the next phase of their life is going to be like. They just know it's there.